Okay, so I'm pretty sure that some of you know that I've used this bin to house BJ in for a while and a couple of other rabbits. It's worked pretty well for that. And usually it was just kind of a random holding pen for extra rabbits and stuff. But Dad's actually suggested a different kind of cage, and it's very intriguing. So today I'm gonna start building it. Basically what the plan is you see this, I think they're the same size, but anyways, so what we did is I cut off this section here. It's right here. I cut these off, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and drill some holes in 4 different corners of it here. And I'm going to cut a door, a rather large door. So the idea is that we're going to take this and make it like one of my cages, one of my metal wire cages, because these can stack. They're also larger, and they have the rinse out factor, which means I can rinse it out, because it's also got a spigot, which is on this side, I believe. Right here, see? So you can open and close this, and it goes all the way through. It needs to be cleaned out, but anyway, so you can rinse it out and water will run through here, which means you can collect it easy. This provides more space for the rabbits. This also is pretty sheltered, which means I wouldn't need the bunny barn if this works. However, I do plan, because this is not well, so anyways, what I plan on doing is putting because this is so tall, I can put another level in here. I do plan on putting maybe half a level on there, where I'll put the feed, the straw, the water, and all that stuff, and then putting a hidey box in there, because 1, that will help during the winter. They'll have a smaller space to warm up during the winter, and 2, it'll help if the hidey box is movable, then I can just pick up the whole box if they decide to hide in it and I need to get to them. So there's that. So let's see, I cut this one. These 2 are cut a little over, but the plan is that we're gonna take some pool noodles actually, and we're gonna put them over this, and then for the door here, I'm probably going to get metal clamps like the ones that I have for the other cages, the little black slip-on things, the door guards. See if we can't get some metal versions of those and put it over the plastic part of the door opening. And then we can probably try and keep this for like the plastic part we cut out for the door, we can keep out for part of the door, but we can also do heavy wire, thick wire for the door opening. So the only concern that I have for this is airflow, and we think we've got some ideas on how to fix that, and I think having a big door will help with the airflow. So that's one of the things that we're working on. Alright, so we've cut out the plastic. Oh, there's a big hole in it. And I've gone ahead and cleaned it out, so it looks pretty nice. Now, these things are supposed to be self-draining. I haven't tipped because that was easier to clean it, but still speckles of water in here. Apparently on level ground it'll clean it, it'll drain itself. So, next we need to put on the door. And I think I've got enough wire to do that. Kitten's exploring it again. She had fun last night up here while I was cleaning it. It was interesting to watch. So, gotta put on the wire and then figure out what we're gonna do for feeders and waters, because we could cut out holes in the side to put the feeders in, but I might have a better idea. So we'll have to look at that. And waters, we could do a gravity-fed water, but I'm not sure how I want to do that one quite yet. because there's many options we could use for that. Anyways, there's that. Okay, so for the most part, this is already in setup. I do have other thoughts and ideas. Right now has a little bit of standing water in it because I had that off and it rained. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a little flap here that sits above the door, and it'll come down when I'm expecting rain or snow, and then I'll put it back up when I don't need it. That way it'll help shelter the door from rain and snow. I don't know that this is quite level because the ground back here isn't quite level, and that's why we've got standing water, so I'll have to dry that up, but it should be okay afterwards. So I've already seen pictures of this, and you know, that works for a single rabbit, but I think eventually I'm just gonna get rid of my bottles altogether, and what I'll do is this part down here, I'll put this wire down here, and I'll get, and I may not even have to use the wire, but I'll get replaceable bowls that are sitting on a rack or something, and I'll put them down here. So like for the winter I can just replace them and let the water melt, dump it, and replace it and whatnot. And then I'll have multiple here for kidding cages and stuff, and I'll either have one over here. I want to get more of these because I like these, and I can probably hang 2 of them here, and I might make this lower, and then maybe put another one over on this corner with another 2 of those feeders for kidding cages, because they work for single rabbits, and then I use them for my kits. The only problem is the kits like to jump in it, which I've never really had a huge issue with that, so so yeah, pretty soon Nevin's gonna come stay in this one for the month, and we're gonna test it out and see how we like it, and if we like it, we're gonna probably sell one of my stacks, get some more of these, make another cage, stack it on here, put some down the line this way. Yeah, so I can fit 16 of these stacked just back here, but I don't need 16, and so what we'll probably end up doing is just having them stacked all on this side up to about here probably, and then the rest of this will be for the straw and the food and stuff, which I'll probably have to make like a little shelter just for that, but otherwise I think it'll work. And the plan from there then is when we do finally get some property, these will be the winter shelters, because then it's okay if they sit in the sun so much, because it'll help keep it warm during the day, and they'll be given a hidey hole for the winter, and then I'll make summer runs for them, which might end up being just tractors. We'll have to see what we end up doing, but that's what we have so far. Alright, so Nevin's been moved in here. You can see that it's quite the large space for him to be in. He's already gone and sprayed back there on the wall. Don't know if you can see that. So there's a couple of things I can do later to add on. I've made a straw holder. I just need to put the hooks in here so that I can hang it for him. And I can put various other articles in here to entertain himself with, once I deem that they're safe. So I need to go find like a small log or stick that's okay for him to chew on and scratch at. Huh. And then I can do platforms that will do stuff with this upward space. I'm gonna do stuff like that. but I won't be able to do that immediately. I'll work my way up there. But so far, I really kind of like it. I'm going to need to do something for when it rains or snows, and I think I've got a good idea about that. So I'll have to get that. I'll do that a little later though. Anyway, so he stayed the night in it already, so I guess you could say this is day 2. So yeah, we'll keep checking back. So far, so good. And unfortunately, this is about the time that things started getting a little hectic. I got the new job, started having computer problems, couldn't make videos, that's why I did all the vlogs. So yeah. So I continued doing a couple of things with the cages. I added this. So it was a feeder, you just put the food down there. And he actually managed to take it off anyways. So the biggest problem I have with this is cleaning it out. It takes a little bit of time because it's not level back here, so it doesn't drain as properly. Plus, when you're trying to do it with straw, and even if you scoop out most of the straw, there's still going to be stuff left. It gets stuck in the pipe. So the only way I can see getting past that is by putting corners there so it channels it all directly into the pipe. And that would take quite a bit of money, or it'd take a lot more work. In essence, these cages cost more to build, but they would last longer if I could build them the way I wanted to. But I think ultimately what I decided was that I was gonna go ahead and just do tractors. Tractors like the size of my kidding cages for each rabbit, and I was gonna downsize to about 4 rabbits, 1 male, 3 females, with a possible 5th being a grow out for when I needed to replace one, so on, so forth. So that's kind of the idea when we move, is I'll start working on tractors. I'll have to find different wire to use because the current wire that I have won't keep coyotes or something out, won't keep larger beasts out like coyotes and wolves and dogs. It won't do that because it's not strong enough. I haven't had much of a problem using it here because we've got a 165-pound Great Dane that comes into the backyard, and I have a cat that comes into the backyard, so yeah. But when we move out into the property, since I'm not going to have livestock guardian dogs at first, I'm going to need to get some thicker wire. Wire probably more like this, but this would be hard to make into a decent cage that I need. However, I could try it, but I'm going to try and find some different wire that's about that thick, and we'll see how that goes.